Hey guys, you may not know this about me, but I am an absolutely raging insomniac. I have always been a raging insomniac since I was a little girl. Used to drive my mother nuts. And so anyway, I was thinking about what I could do for a video, and I was going to come up here and do a whole 5 more common questions kind of deal. And then I saw a comment on one of the Facebook pages that I look at where it was yet another person asking, well, how do I approach my mom and ask her to let me use cloth? So I decided, you know what, I'm just going to answer that one. So I was thinking about my mother anyway, and so that one just kind of resonated. So I was like, you know what, let's do this. Let's do a video about how we talk to mom about cloth pads. And so, so that's what this one is.
But you are not alone in this, and you are not alone in this.
Okay, this one is for the teens and the young dependent people who live with their parents and depend upon their parents for financing. There are a lot of younger ladies who find out about cloth pads and they want to know how to ask their mother to buy some for them, or how they can talk to their mother about wanting to use them. And there's quite a few places where there's advice about how to sneak and hide it from parents that, you know, do not do that. I'm a mother of a daughter, and the number one sin in this house that does not get tolerated is lying and deceit. My daughter knows that she will get in more trouble for lying to me or deliberately attempting to deceive me than anything else that she does wrong. You know, children make mistakes and they get in trouble. They get corrected by their parents on all kinds of things as they grow up. But the one thing in our home that will bring down, you know, Mama Bear wrath is deceit and deception. Do not lie to your parents. Do not go behind their backs. So that's number one. You must be upfront and honest with the people in your family. And it's not just about being subservient to your parents, which, you know, you ought to be submissive to your parents. It's their home, it's their money, and they love you and they raise you, and they deserve your respect. So don't lie. The best way to approach, and I'm assuming you would approach your mother if you had that option, when you approach her, the big key is to tell her why. I know that when my daughter comes and asks me to do things that I think are just dangerous for one, or just silly, or without reason being expensive, my initial response is to say no. But if she comes to me and she tells me why, you know, if she makes a good argument. I mean, from the time that she was teeny tiny, I mean, that was important to both my husband and me, was that if she had a good reason, if she had thought this out, that, you know, unless there was a good reason to say no, we would say yes. So make sure that you sit down and you think about, why do you want to do this? Do you want to do this because they're pretty? That's valid. Do you want to do this because the pads that you've been using hurt or have caused itching? Or any other kind of, you know, are you asking to do this because tampons hurt? Are you asking to do this because, you know, you're concerned about the environment and you don't like how much trash you're throwing away during your cycle? Whatever your reasons are, think them through. Sit down and think them through so that when your mother asks you, why on earth would you want to do that? You need to be able to tell her, because here's the thing, your mother's just like every other woman out there. You probably hadn't heard of cloth pads until you ran across it on YouTube or a friend who uses them, right? Well, she probably hasn't heard of them either. And I can guarantee you your dad hasn't heard of them. So if you're approaching a parent, you need to be prepared to explain to them what they are and why. The next thing, you must be, from the very beginning, you have to be upfront and say, I'm going to clean them myself. If you want to use cloth, do not ask anyone else to clean them for you. Don't ever do the thing where, I don't care how messy the rest of your life is, if you leave your room like a tornado went through it, that's between you and your parents and the rules of your home. Do not allow your cloth pads to become part of that. Because if you allow yourself to be lazy about that, and your parents have to see, this personal thing, which nobody wants menstrual fluid to get on anything but the pad that it's supposed to be on, okay? It's not about it being infectious. It's about, we don't leave blood laying around. So you need to, especially, and you also need to be honest with yourself about how your habits have been. If you constantly have a messy room, if you constantly have piles of laundry on the floor, if you don't regularly clean out your own trash can after your menstrual cycle, if your parents have had to go into the bathroom that you use and clean up after you, they're going to be a lot less likely to be cooperative on wanting to do this. If they don't have faith that if you have not demonstrated the level of personal responsibility necessary to make them confident that, if they do this for you, that number one, you'll stick to it, and number two, that you will take care of it. Because this is your body, these are your body secretions, these are things that you need to be prepared to take care of. So also be upfront with that too. Start with, look, I'm going to take care of these myself. And watch videos so that because the next question your mom's going to ask you is, well, how are you going to clean them? Where are you going to clean those? Where does that go? You need to be able to tell your mother, look, this is how it works, and say, however you've decided that you're going to clean them after you watch the different videos. I have one. Precious Stars Pads channel has several videos like that. There's a channel, That One Vegan Girl is the name on YouTube, and she has a video about how she washes her pads. There's a lot of how to wash your pads videos out there, and there's a lot of different processes. So talk to people on Facebook, make sure that you've decided how you think you'd be comfortable cleaning your cloth pads, and make sure that when your parent asks you, well, how are you going to clean them, that you can answer that question, that you can tell them where you intend to store them, where you intend to clean them, what kind of detergents or stain fighters you intend to use to keep them clean, where, that sort of thing. Be prepared to explain how you're going to take care of them, how you're going to clean them. Demonstrate that you've thought this out. Now, by the time you get to that point in the conversation, you will have already shown your parent that you've put thought into this, that you've done your homework on this. You know why you want to do it, you know how you're going to do it, and then the final thing, and this is difficult, because during the adolescent years, a lot of parent-child relationships get complicated. And if you have already a hostile or antagonistic relationship with your parent, that's something that you need to self-examine. You really, really do. And this is where, it's just me, this stranger you don't know on the computer, talking right now. Nobody else is with you. Nobody else can see or hear you admitting anything. But you need to admit to yourself if there are behaviors that are making your relationship with your parent hostile, because that's the only other thing I can foresee being a problem. If you and your parents have been going head to head, if you and your mother are having a hostile phase right now where you guys can't say 3 sentences together without somebody getting all, pissy, you need to deal with that first, because going up and asking your mom to spend a lot of money on something that she's not sure about or she's never heard of before, if you already have an actively hostile kind of situation going on in the relationship, that might also be one of those things where she just shuts you down and doesn't want to listen. And if that's the case, then you need to work on that before you go to her about cloth pads. So anyway, that's my advice. Don't lie. Just don't lie. Because honestly, I can't even begin to tell you how upset I would be if I found out that there was this whole process going on and all these purchases being made behind my back, and I run it. Because, I'm sorry, I don't care how discreet you are with your pads, unless you're just being completely neglected and nobody ever goes in your room and nobody ever goes into the bathroom that you use. Your parent's going to notice that you're doing this at some point. And if you've been lying about it and hiding it from them, that's going to be a whole other layer of issue. So, don't lie, don't deceive, don't sneak. Be sure that you understand why you want to do this so that you can articulate that to your parent, and be prepared to assure them that you're going to take care of them yourself, and know how you're going to do that so that when they ask you, well, what's your plan for this? You'd be like, I'm going to use my bathroom sink, or I'm going to use the utility sink in the garage, or I'm going to, wherever it is that you're going to wash them, and whatever process you're going to use to wash them. Make sure they know. And then, you know, show them the ones that you want to purchase. And just say, hey, you know, how would you feel about me doing this? And just open a dialogue and have a conversation. Your parents are people too. And they will talk to you and they will listen. They love you. So they want you to be happy. So show them why this is part of that for you. Okay?